This podcast is not a substitute for a relationship with a mental health professional. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast with your girl, Andrea Wise Brown, and
Stephen James Dixon.
Hey, Mr. Stephen James Dixon.
You see the milk dud, like the milk dud going with the beard. The light is just right. Shout out to the lights, cameras, action, production, crew, producers. Everybody got your man looking like this. Hey, can you have somebody come and brush my beard real quick? They gone?
Yeah,
you let them go?
She left for the day.
They
She
should have
did.
brushed
She
my beard on camera. Next time, make sure you brush my beard on camera.
Okay, so yeah, I'm glad you like the service around here. This is good. Okay, this is good. Okay, guys, welcome back. And y'all know we are still working on our series. We're working with you and inspiring you and empowering you and hopefully educating you. Men, we are helping men heal. Yeah, helping men heal. For someone who don't know who you are, I don't know though. I don't know. I don't know. They would if they've been living under a rock. I'm gonna say that under a rock. Yeah. Let me reintroduce you.
Uh-oh.
Okay. All right. Okay. So here we go. My co-host, Mr. Stephen James Dixon, is a husband, a father, a relationship expert, and author of the book Men Don't Heal, We Hoe. It's a book about the emotional instability of men and I want to say capacity. What's the other book?
Love Capacity.
And Love Capacity. That's the second book. Okay. Stephen has been featured live on TV and radio across the country and as far away as Europe and Africa. All right. So that is Mr. Stephen James Dixon. Yay!
If you see me staring into the camera, that's me checking out myself. It's going to be a couple of those today where you just say, is he just looking at himself? And I'm like, yeah.
Is that what I'm going to be wondering if you're looking at yourself?
Yeah.
Or are you saying
whoever
the men
your
out here?
audience out there, I mean, they checking out your man beard. I'm gonna have a hat on, so
right, because you are a hat man.
I'm a hat guy.
Okay, but today, what you doing? You came here for the okay.
Other look, other style. You got the big smile today.
Okay, okay, this is good.
Geez, my mama gonna love
it. Okay, that's so good. Hey, mama. Okay, nice. Okay, so now let's do a little recap. I want to do a recap. So this is the third. Nope. This is the fourth. This is the fourth week, the fourth episode of our 6-episode series, right? Of I'm hungry for whatever it is. But this is a safe space for men to heal. And so our first week we did I'm hungry for love. The second week we did I'm hungry for acceptance. And then the third week we did I'm hungry to be a leader.
Yes.
So those were our 3 weeks. And so now we are on the fourth week.
Let's go.
Yes. And this week is I am hungry for communication.
And all men just like, nah, I really don't want to talk for real.
That's so good.
Listen to me, brother. Hold on.
That's good.
Don't run off.
That's so good. Yeah, you right. You be on it.
You're like, no, that's not that interesting. Turn the game on.
That's right. But let me just say this to all of you. Men fear communication. Mostly, right? So generally men have an issue with communicating, meaning communicating their real feelings. During the series, we've talked about identifying feelings and how important it is for men to identify their feelings so they're not walking around in the world numb and acting out with maladaptive behaviors. Maladaptive behaviors like collecting random women while they're in a monogamous relationship. Random women. Or like, overusing porn or over drinking, overeating, What are some other overs? Over drinking,
I'm
overeating,
still focused
over
on.
drugging.
I'm still
What you
focused on
focus on?
overusing porn. Like, can you underuse porn? Is that somebody not getting enough porn in their life? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm goofy today.
So yeah, let's say
That-
overusing.
No, we should really say, because
What
there are
should we
people
say?
with a porn problem and a porn addiction.
That's what we're talking about. So that's why I'm saying overuse of porn, overuse of alcohol, overuse of drugs, right? Okay, all right. So and overuse of having sex or dating random women. Random meaning, because does that sound horrible? Random meaning.
You over there.
Women that they don't have feelings for,
Right.
and they're just collecting them for their use.
Yes.
Because they need distractors from life.
Agreed.
Okay, there we go. And if they identified how they feel and use their voices about how they feel and attend to their feelings, then it could change their quality of life. And then they don't need all of that stuff.
Right.
Right.
If you get to where you're dealing with the real issues, then maybe you'll have better solutions, and the solutions will be long term instead of short with the random woman.
Right. Short-term gratification. You was getting ready to go there.
Yes.
I like it. Yeah, that's good. Okay, all right. So when we talk about communication, we are talking about men actually communicating their feelings and their thoughts. Yes. So I'm gonna start off with this, right? So men, come on, stick with us on this, because I know that a lot of men feel like because they've told me. So I am if you don't know who I am, my name's Andrea Wise Brown, and I am a practicing psychotherapist, okay, here in Dallas, Texas. And I see men, I see women, I see couples, I see families. Okay, there we go. So from a lot of men, even if they come in a couple or if they come by themselves, one of their complaints is they just don't feel like they can express how they truly feel at home with their women.
Yeah, I've heard that too over the years of working with men, speaking at conferences with men and things like that. Definitely doing one-on-ones. What I talk to men about when they say that to me is that they're probably not as good as expressing how they feel, because it's not a skill set or a muscle that we use often. Actually tapping in and really expressing how we really feel. To know how you feel, you got to first figure out how you feel first, and then try to talk about it. And too often men, we trying to talk and feel at the same time, and that's what make it difficult in communication. You got to know how you feel first about whatever you're dealing with. Take some time, and women are great at this. Women, the average woman will actually say to herself, let me see how I feel. Let me pray about it. Let me think about it. Let me talk about it with my friends before I bring it to my husband or my boyfriend or whatever. Whereas men normally just do it by the seat of their pants. And so that's one of the things that you and I have actually talked about before, not on the podcast yet, but just how a lot of times there are good relationships that men have where they could communicate and they don't. So I definitely wanted to start there, where we learn to identify who are the trusted men in your life, men. Who are the trusted men in your life that you could talk to about whatever's going on?
Okay. So you want to ask that question because you want men to identify other men in their lives that they can talk to about whatever's going on, their issues.
Yes. And let's drill down into that, because I remember when I was 23 years old and I was going through a significant situation.
Okay.
And I had people that I could talk to, and I just chose not to. I just chose to continue conversations about the game, about money, about girls or whatever, women. And I could have sat down and said, hey, man, I need to have a real conversation with you about what's going on with me and my lady, about how it's been difficult, or I don't understand why we're fighting so much, why we're not getting along. Hey, have you been through something like this? Can you offer some advice? Learning how to be humble and things like that. At the age of 23, I just kept it all inside. And I had men I could have talked to where I would not have been judged. So that's the first point for men, is that they're all, I just really doubt that there are men out there
Mm-hmm.
that really have no one that they can talk to.
Yeah,
No one.
I doubt that.
You know, it's just a matter of you identifying that person.
Mm-hmm.
It could be your uncle that you don't talk to that often that you have a lot of respect for.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a coach from your high school team, your college team.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a fraternity brother.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a church member.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a family friend. There is somebody who will not judge you
Mm-hmm.
that you can talk to, but you have to identify that person now. And you have to identify that person in advance of having a problem.
That's so good. Yeah, that's good. And I'm just gonna say this. In addition to that person, like whether it's a friend, whether if you're in some kind of group or fraternity, right? If it's, I guess, what that's a brother. If you go to church and there's like a pastor or I don't know, a deacon staff or someone to talk to there. But a therapist, like men reach out to therapy, a therapist. So let me say this. The pandemic came through here and it did some horrible stuff.
Right.
Okay. Because it rocked me, rocked my toes, rocked everything, right? No, it really did. I was not in a good place. However, since the pandemic and since George Floyd's killing, so many more men are coming to therapy.
Yeah.
So many more black men and women, but black men are coming to therapy to talk about their issues. And I am so proud of that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say thank you to George Floyd. I'm not going to say thank you to the pandemic, but
right.
Yeah,
there
but I'm just saying since that, like that's what came out of it.
Be to the men that's listening and to the women, if you could share it with your husbands or boyfriends or whatever. Let's be direct in saying, go see a therapist. If you so as you're sitting here right now, get out pen and paper and write down who are the people that you can share anything with. Who are the men that, if you're a man, who can you cry with? Who will give you a hug? Who will tell you that you love them? And the reason why I know men have this, because men have friends they've been friends with 30, 40 years now. Men have that, right? If you got your friend of 30 years and you can't tell them that you hurting or your marriage is in trouble or there's some, of course you can, right? But if you can't, right? Okay, fine. You've identified that you cannot, you don't have anyone. See a therapist. Because the beautiful thing about a therapist is now you're paying for this time. It is private. Yes. By law, the therapist cannot share your information. They're not going. Do you go on Facebook and tell anybody business?
I don't even like Facebook, but no.
You're not like, so at 2:30 today, let me tell y'all what happened. You're not doing that?
No, because that's unethical. So
right.
we cannot violate HIPAA, meaning we can't violate the privacy laws. So your information is safe with us outside of two things. If we find that you are a danger to yourself or to someone else, then we have to report it. We have to get you help. So you come in and tell me you can ready kill somebody. We got to tell we
keep
need
that
help.
To yourself. Go
Or
on, keep that one.
no, or if you want to hurt yourself or harm yourself, then we have to get you help. So those are the two caveats to secrets. It's all secret. Everything that you share, it's secret, our secret.
And private and legally bound to not be shared.
That's right.
There's a license that could be lost. Talk about that for a second, like how that happened.
Well, that's just what it is. Yeah, you just already said it. Yeah.
License can be lost. Y'all here telling everybody business. You ain't got no license.
Right. Well, you don't want to be in violation. And this is any healthcare provider. Yes. This is any healthcare provider. So a doctor, we can go on and on. But any healthcare provider, yes, we're bound by HIPAA laws, which are privacy laws. And so, no, we cannot share your private information with anyone else. So it's guaranteed to be safe when you go to a therapist.
Let's be very clear and direct that a therapist, people understand this about doctors and lawyers. Whatever you say to your doctor's not going to share. Whatever you say to your lawyer, your lawyer's not going to share.
That's right.
Whatever you say to your therapist is not going to share. So if you're one of those 0.0% men that don't have any men in your life that you can talk to, go see a therapist.
Yeah. I think they should do both, though, Stephen. I think they should do both. I think they should talk to their friends, but I think that all people, men too, need an unbiased, studied approach, or a relationship coach. Same thing, unbiased and studied, where you don't know them. I will say this. I think that it's great to have a place for men and women. We talking about men here to express their feelings. You have to have someone that you're expressing your stuff to. But I also think that in addition to that, when you want advice or you're trying to work through issues, sometimes your friend group have the same mindset that you do.
Yeah.
So it would be good to go to a professional who's waiting to help you. You understand? To help you process your stuff. And we're unbiased.
Right.
The only buy-in is your best, right? It's not that I grew up with who you grew up with and I know this person and I have this sort of no, 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 no. You present your information to me or any other therapist, and then we have an unbiased approach, a studied approach to help you get to the best place for you.
If you are a man and you don't have any other men in your life that can challenge you, then you're not gonna reach your full potential as a man.
Oh, that's good.
It's impossible to reach. You gotta have another man. Like one example I can give is when we bought our house, I told my wife, like, hey, I spent all the money on the down payment. I can't buy no furniture. We're gonna be in here furniture list for a little bit, 6 months, a year. You know, we just in here, we're gonna sit on the floor, get some air mattresses out. Something. You wanted this house, I bought the house, you agreed, no furniture.
Okay.
So then I told the wife, I said, hey, you know, we gotta have a little table to at least eat on, right?
Oh,
so
okay.
I had this little table. This was back in the day when they had Craigslist. Remember?
Okay, Craigslist. Yeah.
Go to Craigslist, get that little table over there. It's $300. My wife was like, nah, I'd rather just save and wait and get the table I want. I was like, nah, I need a table.
It was women on Craigslist though.
Oh
go
yeah,
ahead.
I was trying to get the table. And
sorry, table.
Can't do both.
Go ahead.
I only had $300 at the time.
I'm
I had
just
no money
saying.
back then to be
That's
buying
what it
women
made
on
me
Craigslist.
think of. Okay.
Lord.
I'm just saying. I think I heard that, but go ahead. Let's go.
And so and so I bought a table and chairs after having an argument with my wife. Wife didn't talk to me for a week. I called my homeboys. I said, man, my wife is tripping. I done bought this house that she wanted. She mad at me because I bought a table and chairs. My homeboy said, you wrong. Take the table and chairs back. You don't get to choose the table and chairs. And I was mad, but I returned that table and chairs based on the advice of my friend group that I was humble enough to go to them and trust their judgment. These were men that were married. These were men that somewhat older, somewhat younger, but we now challenge ourselves. You need a strong community of men.
Absolutely.
I got a community of men right now where we telling each other, hey, go get your physical. Test your blood sugar. What's your blood pressure?
It's good.
Have you worked out this week? We linking in on our watches, on our apps and saying, did you work out? Did you work out twice this week? How many times you work out? What are you eating? What are you doing? I had a friend come in the group the other day and say, hey, man, if y'all see me drinking a soda, just knock it out my hands.
Oh, this
because I'm just eating and consuming too much sugar. You know, so if you don't have men in your life that challenge you and being specific about a man challenge you, because a woman cannot challenge you in the same way.
Okay, there's a difference. Sounds like there may be like a competitive spirit to that.
Yeah, the average man doesn't want to be challenged by a woman. They take it as the woman is trying to tell them what to do.
Oh, this is good.
Instead of a woman looking out for their best interests, it takes us men. Hopefully, we can arrive at that point too, where we trust that a woman is not trying to attack us or make us feel bad about ourselves, and they're really just challenging. But if you got a man group, at least you halfway there. And like you talked about earlier, you talked about church with the deacons and the pastors. The average church these days have a men's group that meets on a Wednesday or a Saturday morning or something like that.
Okay.
Get involved in all of that.
Okay. No, that's good. So listen, so I like moving on. I love that you brought in your wife. And so I want to talk about communication that men are having or not having with their significant others, with the women in their life, and the fear of that. Because what studies show is that men are not honest about communication, right? They're not honest about their thoughts. They don't actually communicate. They're afraid to communicate because they have a fear of abandonment. They have a fear of disappointing others, and they have a fear of judgment. Yeah. So instead of actually expressing maybe what they may not like that their partner is doing, or, something about their partner that they don't like, or the relationship. So instead of doing that, because of these fears, then they say nothing, and then they harbor resentment for years. And that resentment turns into going outside of the relationship, and we're talking about those, what is it, for instant gratification. So for the sex or the other women or the porn or the drinking or the drugs or the food, right? So those maladaptive behaviors, they take exits instead of re-entering to actually talk about how they feel about whatever situation is, or maybe their thoughts, if they feel like it's going to cause some conflict within the relationship.
Yeah, I like all that you just said. Definitely the biggest part of that though is, as a man, figuring out when you can really be vulnerable to whatever is going on. I had a conversation with a man this week where he kind of felt like his wife challenged him in a way that, you know what, I can give you an example of myself actually. And so we were having this issue where we may have to move. And because the city's doing some developments and all that around our house, we don't like the developments. And my wife was like, ordinarily you are very clear in what you want to do. You have a plan, and you act on it, and you never kind of waffle. And I'm man enough now. You know, I enjoyed saying that.
Oh, did you really?
I'm man enough now.
Okay, now. Okay.
Right now.
Okay.
To own that I was waffling.
Oh.
A lot of men are like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm cool. I'm just thinking about it or whatever. I said, no, I am waffling a bit because I love our home. I'm not ready to move. I don't want to buy another $1 million house. That's what they cost these days.
I understand.
Interest rates are bad. And so I owned it. I said, yes, I am waffling because there's not a good choice or a clear choice. So I'm kind of not sure about what I want to do. A younger me would not have said that. A younger me would have said, I'm working through it or whatever, or I'm gonna figure it out, or I know what I want to do, or I would have just decided, unprepared, not fully have thought out the whole thing.
Right.
I would have just decided because I'd have felt the pressure from the woman looking at me and judging me.
Oh, there you go.
Right. And
fear
so
of judgment.
I felt that fear of judgment again. You just mentioned it. But in this stage of my life, I owned it. And I said, okay, I can be challenged. I can be judged. And it's okay that I'm not 100% confident on what I want to do today. And because of that, I'm going to make a better decision tomorrow.
I got you. Yeah. And so I think that's the thing. Like, so I love that you owned it.
Yes.
But it's also because you've done a lot of work on yourself.
Yes.
And so you're in a place where you're feeling more secure about who you are, right? And we talked about that, right? And you've accepted who you are, right? So then when you know that, then it's easier to access. Like pride and ego doesn't jump up in front of you and try to protect you, right?
Yes.
Because now you've already beat them down. I don't need y'all, right? So now you know who you are. So you was able to kind of just stand up and say and assert, oh, okay, well, this is how I'm feeling, or these are my thoughts, or baby, you right. When before, right, pride and ego says you can't let her see you like that. You're gonna look like a weak. You're going, you know what I'm saying, right? And then you play to that. But I this is what I want to know, right? In doing so, after you did it, after you learned to, and I'm wondering when you learned to do this, but like actually communicate. When did you learn that it was okay to communicate, that you would be okay communicating? When did you learn? And then I want to know what it feels like after you do it. Like when you own your truth, you say it, even though she may not agree with it. Yeah, what does that feel like to get it out?
That might be the best question I've ever been asked in all the interviews I've ever done. Like, and I've done interviews everywhere. To ask me, what does it feel like to own it? When did I arrive there? I'm not necessarily sure about.
Okay.
I think it was probably something that happened over time. Like just, it wasn't something I could pinpoint and say on this day or whatever. But how it feels, it is amazing. It's the best feeling ever to be able to own how you feel. To spend the time to think about how you feel and to be okay with it and not fear judgment. And in fact, when I talked to the man I was talking about earlier, I told him that leaders are challenged. You gotta let that marinate for a minute. leaders are challenged. If you're the coach of the football team,
Yeah.
they want to know why you lost. And you might not have fumbled, you might not have thrown an interception, but you are responsible. You are the leader. You will be questioned publicly as the coach of the football team. You the CEO of the company and the company's losing money, you got to answer to the board. You will be challenged. The president of the United States, whether it's Democratic or Republican, will be challenged. Husbands in households will be challenged. We have to accept that. Men are finding that difficult. Men just want to be leaders in terms of we just tell them what to do.
Yeah.
That's not how submission works. We got to talk about submission one time.
Okay.
But that's not how submission works. Leadership, the first thing about being a leader, and we tying this back to communication,
Yes.
is that you have to lead for the people that follow you.
Okay.
You sacrifice first as a leader.
Okay.
And so then when you're sacrificing first and your followers can then question you, they can help you be a better leader if you can listen. So you have to take that into consideration.
Yeah, but then, like you said it took some time, and maybe over years you got to a place where you were able to accept maybe criticism, accept maybe questioning, accept critique, right?
Absolutely.
But this is the thing. Accepting those things doesn't make you weak, does it?
Does not make me weak. I definitely feel stronger. I definitely feel that I'm better at communication because I'm not in denial the whole time we having a conversation.
Or defense.
Or defensive at all. Like I can actually listen. I can actually hear what she has to say. I can actually, because young in communication, we are only focused on what I'm trying to communicate, right? That's what's going on, by the way. For all the people that's out there struggling with communication, it is husband who's trying to make his point and his wife who's trying to make her point, and it is not husband trying to understand wife's point and wife trying to understand husband's point. It is only I'm going to say what I want to say, and then she's going to understand and agree. Not just understand, she's also going to agree. And if she don't agree, she just don't understand.
Oh,
that might have been too much.
No, it's not too much. But you know what men tells me? That frustrates them.
Yes.
And they also tell me that when they do express themselves, and then the woman comes back in defense, or if she's saying, well, no, in disagreement, then they feel like, well, what was the use of me even expressing myself? Because I didn't get what it was. She's not on the same accord as I am. She doesn't agree with me. So let me just be quiet and say nothing. Hey, family, just stop by here for a couple of seconds. Have something for you. This right here is a go-to guide. The name of it is 6 Pillars to Power Up Your Mind and to Make Mental Health a Lifestyle. This teaches you everything that you need to know to keep your mind healthy and strong. So come on now, if you want to keep your minds healthy and strong, as you have joined a part of our movement, you've joined this mission, you got to know how to do it. So this is your go-to guide. Going to get this at awisebrown.com. In addition to that, what you'll learn in this book is there are other ways to keep your mind healthy and strong, nice and alert, and that would be aromatherapy. Family, I'm trying to tell you something. This is delicious. Oh my goodness. This is a cruelty-free candle with no paraffins, no formaldehyde, and no known suspected carcinogenics. And the name of it is A Slice of Happiness, because when you smell it, it raises the endorphins in your brain. I'm just telling you. And the dopamine, it makes you feel good. You get a burst of happiness. You can burn it, or you can just walk by and smell it. You can find this too at awisebrown.com. People are loving it. Please get it before it sells out. A Slice of Happiness. And then family, because I know you're a part of me. I'm a part of you. We doing this together. We got hoodies now, family. All of us. We got hoodies. Wise by Andrea. It's kind of like on that candle. But y'all, let me show you what the bag says. Mental health is a lifestyle. Andrea Wise Brown. And it's a zip-up hoodie. So you can zip it down, zip it up. I can't really zip it down today because it's all I have on. And then I have it in white too. You can buy it in white too. Wise by Andrea. It's the cutest thing. Mental health is a lifestyle. Come on, family, we have hoodies. So I want you to go and get your hoodie that feels so comfortable. I just love to wear them everywhere. Get your aromatherapy and then get your go-to guide. You're going to go to awisebrown.com. Click on shop. awisebrown.com. Shop to get your goodies. Okay. See you on the other side. Go ahead.
It's too many men that want to talk to their women as if their woman is a man. It's too many.
Okay, but listen, but I don't want to go there, right? I just want to go to I just want, if you could, please, I want you to stick with that point. So even if a man is speaking respectfully, right, and he's just communicating what it is that he feels or what his thoughts, and they're different than his woman's, right? And his point is, this is his point, and I think this is where it is. His point is that I'm speaking this because I'm expecting to get this thing back, right? My reward back is that you're going to agree with what it is that I say, and we're going to be on one accord, right?
Right.
However, the same man, let's just say, or men who feel like that, who don't want to deal with the conflict of saying this and then their person doesn't agree with it, don't really believe in the rule of agree to disagree. Like, let's just agree to disagree. Yeah. So, like, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. The agree to disagree thing is, I got to think on that actually.
Okay.
Because sometimes you need to solve a problem.
But would you not speak? Would you say something, right? Your wife doesn't agree, so she tells you what she feels, right? And then you like, no, but it's this. And then she's like, no, but it's this. And so now you're here. So then you leave it there. You say, okay, well, we can agree to disagree on that.
Yeah, it depends on what it's about. You know, if it's over Chinese versus Italian, we can agree to disagree and we both get what we want.
Okay.
Right. But on selling the house, we have to come to some type of agreement.
Okay, got
at
you.
some kind of point.
I got you.
And when I talk about men talking to women as if they're talking to men, it is, you got to have a different approach when you're talking to your woman. For example, I have no inhibitions when I'm talking to a guy. When I'm talking, I just tell him how I feel. You know, if it's F you, get out my face, I smack you in the mouth, whatever, I just say it. I can't talk to my woman like that. She don't respond well to that. She don't speak that language. Women, for the most part, the average woman, my wives don't entertain that kind of aggressive communication. I've had to learn over the years. I'll tell you some of the things I do.
Yeah, because and you got me stuck at wives.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. I got 3, 4. No, I'm joking. Well, I meant the community of wives.
I'm still stuck. Who are you referring to? Because I
All
thought
the
you said
wives
about
I
you.
know. Yeah, back to me. And so when I'm having a difficult conversation with my wife, one of the first things I do is I make sure I'm sitting down. When I stand up, I project, which makes it seem like, because I'm a public speaker, it makes it seem like I don't know how to privately speak once you become a public speaker. What do you think of that?
We talking about you. Keep
And so I feel like I'm talking at her when I'm standing up. And so I tell myself to sit down. I tell myself to calm down. I tell myself sometimes if it's a real difficult conversation, I might have my little water ready. And I'm not that I'm thirsty, but I tell myself, hey, stay calm. We're in a disagreement. Just take a moment.
Okay.
This is my moment.
Okay.
So I'm saying this bottle, this drink, it is intentional in breaking up the conversation. It is a technique. It is a skill set. While I'm saying to myself, I'm not thirsty.
Okay.
This is making me close my mouth for a second.
Okay. Ooh. Okay.
Just close your mouth, Stephen.
Okay.
And listen.
Okay.
Close your mouth and listen. Right. So I've arrived at where when I was younger, it was like I would keep trying to explain.
Ooh, that's good.
She's going to get it. Let me say it differently. Okay, she didn't get it. Let me say it differently again.
And the reason why you thought that she didn't get it, it wasn't because you thought that she could even disagree with you.
Right.
Because you felt like if she heard what I said, she would agree.
Let me clean her ears out.
Right. But the reality is maybe that she just didn't agree.
She didn't
Maybe
agree.
she had a different thought about that, and she was sticking to it.
Grown woman, she had her feelings.
So then how do you walk away from that? Yeah.
It's
With
knowing.
agreeing to disagree.
Right. You can table things. Like I said, it depends on what it is, but you
Mhm.
can table things. You can definitely, what I try to teach people is to float outside of the conversation.
Mhm.
Right. So it's a concept that I kind of developed where you say to yourself, if you're looking at your argument, is this going to be resolved today or not? And if you've been arguing for 45 minutes, y'all not going to resolve it today.
Mhm.
After 45 minutes, each person is dug into their corner and they feel how they feel. And we got to come back with a totally different type of information,
Mhm.
conclusion, direction, goals. What are we trying to achieve?
Mhm.
And then come back and say, okay, sometimes I tell myself, Stephen, try to understand what she wants.
That's good.
It took me, we probably spent 10 years on that. Like
This is
me
good.
just explaining,
That's right. That's
explaining
so
again.
good. That's
Hey,
so
I thought
good.
about this. Let me say it to you this way.
No.
And she really like, you really didn't say it differently. You kind of said the same thing.
That's so good.
You
That's
know?
right. And I still don't agree.
Right. And I still
Yes.
don't agree with
Yes.
whatever you said.
I don't see it the way you see it.
Right. And so
Yeah.
it took me a long time to get to where, okay, let me hear what you're trying to
There
say.
and that is the beauty of communication. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, come on. Let me see it. Let me sit in your seat.
Yes.
Because if that's not communication, it's me just telling you how I feel, me just trying to prove my point, me doing a whole presentation, getting you to believe what I believe. That's not communication. That may be you just giving her your thoughts. And sometimes you can actually say, baby, listen, I don't necessarily need you, to respond or to give me your thoughts. I just want you to kind of think about this.
Yes.
This is how I'm feeling right now. If you could just take this and process it, and then we can revisit it and talk about it later. Remember, I was telling you about asking for permission, but it's like, let me just tell you, this is how I'm feeling right now. Or these are my thoughts. And so therefore, that's a different type. That's not even a conversation, right? That's just you pretty much expressing your thoughts and asking her to please process them. Yep. And then y'all can come back and revisit. But communication goes both ways. Yep. So when I say something to her, then I have to, give her a moment to even process, to hear me, then to even ask me, right? Ask, babe, yep, please tell me, what did you hear? Yes. What did you hear that I said? I want to know, did you receive what I intended? Did you receive it? So then you let her repeat back to you, what is it? And then if it's not right, then you go back again. Well, no, baby, that's not it. I did mean that, but then not this and this and the other, right? Mm-hmm. So then when she goes back and she gets that part, it's like, oh, okay. All right, yeah, babe, that's my thoughts on it. That's what I want to communicate. So now for her on her side, right, you have to allow the space, yep, for her to do the same thing, because you want her to see it from your seat, so that she can understand where you're coming from. It's the same thing that you have to do for her. You have to get up, you have to ask her, okay, I'm ready, talk about what you feeling. Let her say whatever it is that she says. Then when she says it, then reflect, okay, wait, baby, did you mean this? Did you say this? And let y'all clarify. And then you sit with where it is that she's coming from. Yeah. And that right there is how you can get to a place where you can agree to disagree about certain things. Because when you sit in someone else's seat, then you can kind of understand why they may have gotten, or they may believe a certain way, or have thought of something in a certain way. And then you don't have to judge them for it, if that makes sense, or get angry with them because they feel that way, because now you've empathized with them. It doesn't mean you agree, right, but you understand why they may feel that way or have thought that way.
You had said sitting in someone else's seat. I have another concept.
Tell me,
thing, basically.
Please. Yeah.
I call it arguing on their side of the street.
Oh.
I mean, and what I mean by that is you got to know your partner, and you got to like I'll have a debate with my wife, and I'll say to myself, okay, she thinks like that because her mother and father have been married together for 36 years. They're a nice little family. She only had 2 sisters. She didn't have any, like, knowing who she is,
yes,
helps with the communication.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so that's I think about it from that point. And then also think about the point of women. Sometimes I would think the average woman, and I'm open to being corrected here, but I think the average woman is more concerned with tone, and the average man is more concerned with words. And the way I would example that is, like, if I go to my wife and say, I guess you look okay, that's a compliment. She don't receive it. She's not taking okay.
Well, I'm not even your wife. Right. And I'm telling you that it was not no compliment.
Right. The first time I said, you look nice. She was like, nice ain't no compliment. That's what you tell somebody that they did their shoes or something like that. Their shoes over there look nice.
Okay.
She had
See,
to literally,
I think that's a compliment, but this is a good point here. No.
Yep.
But right, that's right. Because this is y'all's relationship.
Yes.
So what she's saying to you is, right, which makes it valid for y'all,
yes,
is when you say that nice, they ain't hitting on nothing over here, baby. I need you to do this. That's good.
And I had to, and I'm glad that you made the point of saying that's how our relationship works.
That's right.
And someone else's relationship, because that might work for somebody else.
That's
it might
right.
work when somebody say, "Oh, you look okay." Somebody else, they may be good with that.
They may
you
be.
got to know your partner.
That's right.
You
Very
know,
good.
But it's levels to it. So my wife don't want to be told she looks nice. My wife wants to be told that she looks amazing.
Oh, come on.
My daughter be coming through with I'll say, "Oh, honey, you look great." And my daughter, 8-year-old daughter, walk in, "Girl, you look fabulous." My daughter be killing me in the compliments. Like I gotta like it's so.
They make you work. They make you work. That's good. They make you work.
She let me know what a real
compliment.
Like my wife would say sometimes, like, my compliment, I don't have the energy behind the compliment that women give each other. "Girl, you wearing that dress. Your face is beat," all that kind of stuff. I'm like, "What is your face beat?" It took me about 3 years to figure out what face beat meant. And then by then people wasn't saying it no more.
Okay.
Like I was like, "Yeah, you beat your face." Yes. And she like, "Nah, you didn't do it right."
That ain't it. That ain't it.
And so that communication and just learning how much more important tone was when talking to women. You can say the right thing, but if you say it the wrong way, they can't receive it.
It's so true.
And so that's men today that are having that issue. They don't want to talk to women because they don't have the patience to really look at this woman as something different and unique from me. I cannot talk to her the way I talk to my homeboy about the Cowboys. I'm screaming and yelling about the Cowboys. I had a couple once where the husband wanted to be able to call his wife the B word. And he's like, "I call everybody that."
But was that like in the bedroom, or was that just like just waking up in the morning?
No, just they having a disagreement, and he wants to just F it, you know what I mean, and just express.
Oh no,
like this is BS.
Well,
you know what I mean? You acting like a. Well, I didn't say you were. I said you was acting like it.
Oh yeah, that's
and so
disrespectful.
Right,
it has a different sting to it.
A different sting to it, and she was total opposite. She was like, "I can't hear any of that," and he was frustrated. They were opposites attract. They were very different, and he was like, I talk as me to everyone, but when I come home, I got to talk to her different. And I was like, "Yeah, she's different. Receive that, men out there. She is different. So yes, you talk to your woman differently than you talk to everyone else, right? You have to set that tone, that precedence, that my wife, my woman, my girl, she is different. And yes, I have to have more patience. I have to put thought behind my words before speaking. I have to do more when I'm talking with her. Calm down, slow down. She's got time. Y'all got time. Y'all can talk to her, whatever. You don't get to just throw up and do whatever you want or whatever. This person is invested in your life. So it takes more time. So I tell people all the time, like, for me, for example, this is only me. I only wear cologne when I'm around my wife.
Oh.
By example. And what I mean by that is, I don't care about how I smell to somebody else. It's not important to me. You know what I mean? Like, I hope.
Well, thank God you don't stink.
I try not to. You know what I'm saying? I try. But that's not important to me. I literally don't care. Like, I care about when I'm with my wife.
Oh.
My wife is set apart.
Okay.
That's biblical. My wife is set apart. My wife is different, unique.
Down to your cologne.
Everything.
What about your soap and your...
I wash with that.
I'm just saying, do you have like a different soap for your wife, or your different? I mean, like
whatever she tell me she like the smell.
Okay, that's
I'll
what
wash
you do.
With that, whatever she wants.
However
she want me to smell, I'll wash in that.
Okay,
that's my wife. Everyone else, I don't care about. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean that as an example of, again, my wife is set apart.
Okay.
Like how I talk to her, how I interact with her, what I do for her, what she means to me. She is different from my mother, from my daughter, from my best home girl, from it. They are different. And so a part of men understanding that and accepting that will help them with their communication. That yes, It is harder. It's
Mhm.
supposed to be harder
Mhm.
because you don't get to be whoever you want to. That's easy.
Mhm.
It's easy to just continue being whoever. If you outside calling everybody bees and hoes all day long, then you want to bring that energy home. No, this is home.
Mhm.
Home is different.
Right.
And so I need men to just accept that.
Okay, I get it. So yeah, check your tone
Check your
because
tone.
no, I agree with that. Because you could say the same thing but say it in a more respectful tone, and a woman will hear you. But if you start yelling and cursing, then I tell clients this all the time, then your message is missed because now a woman is distracted and now all she's doing is pointing to how you screaming and how you yelling and how you abusive, how it feels abusive, let me just say. And so therefore the point is missed.
Totally missed.
So if you want the other person to receive the information that you're trying to deliver, well, you got to meet them where they are.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to meet them where they are.
Yes.
So I agree. Go ahead.
The best communicators are people who understand and take responsibility for how it's received.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say that again. The best communicators are the people who take responsibility for how the message is received.
Right, but this is what I want to go back to this, and then we can end this, but I just want to go back to the fear. So I'm wondering, how can you, let's see, help men? Because I mean, I try to help them by encouraging. No, by trying to encouraging them to speak out, to talk about their feelings, to because a lot of men will not do it. I told you there is a fear of abandonment. Like if I tell her how I feel, she gonna leave me. That's not on the surface, but that's what they feel down here in their spirit. That's what fear tells them. Anxiety tells them that if I say this or if I tell her how I really feel of my thoughts, because I don't believe in whatever it is that she's doing, or what I'm saying, I don't agree with this or how we doing this. However, let me keep the conflict down. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want her really to leave me, or I don't want to disappoint her because it feels like disappointing my mother. It actually does. And then I don't want to be critiqued because when I'm critiqued, it makes me feel like I'm small, like I'm doing something wrong, and like I'm in relationship with my mother, like I'm doing something wrong. And so I try to encourage men to do it anyway. Like push through that, do it anyway. So yes, if she tries to critique you, don't run away from the argument, don't run away from the conversation, go back again. And when you go back again, go with the knowing. The knowing is because first you have to be clear about what it is you want to communicate. So even if it's different than what it is that she believes and you feel like it's going to cause conflict, if it is who you are and what you feel, trust me, it's going to be more harmful for you and the relationship to push it down and say nothing, because it will continue to build, because that thing will turn into another thing, and it will affect the relationship and your behavior in the relationship. But it will free you to just go through this, I'm going to say, painful because it's not really painful, but like maybe emotionally hurtful situation where, okay, I'm gonna say this and maybe I'll be critiqued. She ain't going nowhere. She's not going to abandon you. Now she could give you the potential cold shoulder, but she's not going to leave. And I get it. Well, Andrea, we don't want the cold shoulder, we don't want to. That's why I'm just saying whatever it is she wants to say. What I'm telling you is you have to keep going in. So, okay, you say something that she doesn't like. She comes back and she says, well, I don't like that, because women, right? We on defense. Because let me tell y'all something, man. It's a little secret. As powerful as y'all's women are, as fine as they are and powerful, they are just as insecure as y'all are too. They have their own childhood issues too. And a part of where they get their sense of self-worth from is knowing a lot in the relationship. So usually when you say something or you buck up against something that they say or that they believe, they are going to come back with some defense. Some defense. They're going to make you feel small. Oh, you done did. Oh, that ain't true. They're going to come back with that. So you already going in expecting. I'm expecting that this is what she's going to say. However, I'm on the journey of being my best self. So I'm going back in. I'm not throwing down the white flag. I'm not running away and tucking my tail. I'm going back in. I'm watching my tone. And I'm going to say, well, baby, wait, hold on. I feel like that was a critique. I feel like you're criticizing me because I didn't agree with you. That's not fair to me. I need you to put yourself in my shoes. I need you to use these skills, but stay in, call her to it. Call her to it because women have work to do too. But just because they have work to do doesn't mean that you should just run away.
Right.
Some men told me one time, they said, they don't communicate their feelings, everything, because they don't want the conflict. They said, you know what it feels like to be a man in a relationship? It feels like, how sometimes, I don't know if you have a dog, but dogs, you have cages for dogs in the household. So they said, we as men feel like we are always in a cage. I'm like,
that's interesting. I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, that we are in a cage. So it's like, we get to come out, do whatever we want, but emotionally, because we can't really express ourselves, right? So we're in a cage with the world. If I go to work and I'm angry, then I can't express myself because I just said I got to go in a cage and just do whatever they say. If I'm driving down the street or get into conflict with someone so that I make sure that I don't go to jail or see a police, I got to stay in a cage. I can't really express myself. Then when I come home to my woman, I feel like I just got to go along with the flow to keep everything done. And so I'm often feeling like I have all this pent up frustration because I feel like I'm in a cage.
Right.
Like I can see through it and I'm living life, but emotionally I'm in a cage because if I try to express myself, then I feel like I'm going to be punished for it.
If you feel like you're in a cage, then you are not good at communication.
Right.
And you need to get better at it.
And it won't kill them.
It won't kill them.
This is what I'm trying to encourage them. You're going to get better.
You're going to get better. You have to know, men, if you're good at communication or not, like based on, like I said earlier, about how it is responded to. And what I meant by saying you take responsibility for how the message is received, that just says, okay, if I'm speaking in Spanish and my woman don't know Spanish, it don't matter if I'm the most eloquent Spanish speaker in the universe. She don't understand it. So if I'm yelling at her, she's not receiving because she don't do yelling. She don't do it. She can't receive it. And so in communication with your special person that you're connected to, that you have something to work through, go, and this is how we talked about earlier in the podcast, go bounce that off your homeboys. Go talk to your psychotherapist. Talk to somebody and say, hey, I'm trying to figure out a way to tell my wife I want a threesome. And they're going to be like, ain't no good way to do that. You're doing too much. What else do you need to talk about it? Do you need to, I need to, well, really, it's not that I want the threesome. I'm having a problem with our sex. How do I communicate sex? Okay, let's talk through that now. Let's have a conversation about how you go about and appropriately say, this is what I need. This is what I would like. But also in the same fashion, say, what do you need? What do you like? What can I do better? How can I help to set the mood, set the environment? What do I need to do all day long? My wife is one who's like, make love to me all day long verbally, before you trying to get at it in the middle of the night, right? And so I haven't been good at that. I have not always been good at that. I'm still probably not as good as that I need to be.
Okay.
But it's a tool for men out there to understand that.
And what she means, I'm sorry. So I'm just trying to clarify what she means is what you're saying, what you're inferring is she's saying speak to her. What in what
nice
way? Sweetly.
Call, how are you doing today?
Don't just tap on her at nighttime, ready to roll over. Let's hit this.
My tap is amazing.
Okay,
wow.
Whatever that is.
Did that tap not just send them through your body? When I tapped you, that didn't just go through your whole body and make you ready? It did.
Your wife said no. Your wife said no.
She
That's
said
right.
No.
She said that. Yeah, she said tap her all day with your mouth.
Yes.
Yeah, tap her all day. Yeah, reach out to her. Come
I remember when she said, hey, you didn't even call me today.
Oh.
And I was like, but I saw you.
Oh, that's
And she was like, no, ask me how my day was.
Oh, that's good. Come on, communication.
And I was like, we was here together all day long. Ain't nobody left the house. I saw you. I saw how your day was. She was like, no, you didn't hear my conversations.
Oh, that's good.
You didn't know how I talked to my homegirl, and she's going through a difficult time that made it hard for me and hurt my feelings for her and things like that. I would have shared that with you if you had asked. And so we have to be cognizant of, when you're in communication, what is the goal? Right? I think sometimes we lose sight that I'm not just trying to express myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get to a compromise, right? And so you come in, I want 10, my wife wants 1.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get to 5?
Mm.
That is the goal of the communication.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm going to get my 10.
Okay.
Quite honestly,
Okay.
that doesn't always happen, right? I've
Okay,
been married
good.
18 years. Like, I'm
Okay.
not going to always get my 10.
Okay, good.
But the goal would be is meeting halfway. The goal
Mm.
in marriage, in communication, is a reasonable compromise where
Mm.
both parties can say, I got a little bit. I didn't get
Mhm.
everything I wanted,
Mhm.
but I got a little bit. Maybe next time I'll get a little bit more. Maybe the
Mhm.
next time she'll get a little bit more. It has
Mhm.
to go back and forth. It has to have balance. And
Mhm.
so just be cognizant of that. So use these tools that we're sharing.
Yeah.
We're not just talking, right? We're talking about bouncing things off your friend group, creating a safe environment
Mm.
today. So when you have a problem tomorrow, you can talk through it. Don't scream and yell. Don't curse unless your wife is good with that.
Mhm.
You know, you can do that, but it be in agreement. If she's not a screaming, yeller, cursor person, don't do that. And you know who she is based on how she act,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
even if she is like that, she may not want to do that with you.
Mm.
And so receive that and know that the goal, and people lose sight of the goal
What's
all
that?
the time.
Uh-huh.
The goal is the compromise. Like you get to where you just telling your side. Like this, like we talked about earlier about again and again and again saying the same thing but saying it differently.
Mhm.
You're not working toward the goal then. You're only trying to tell your side.
Yeah. But I think with compromise, and I said this on a podcast before, we can get in trouble with compromise when you are compromising
Right.
your own personal values. So compromise on what restaurant we going to, compromise on a vacation, you know what I'm saying? Compromise in those ways, and even like you said in regards to sex, right? When you said something about a threesome or whatever.
Right.
So but compromise, as long as compromise works, as long as you aren't compromising your own personal values.
Right.
I think that's where couples get into trouble, when you compromise and you lose yourself, because no one should lose themselves in a marriage. You just should not lose yourself. And so, I mean, outside of the children, but you shouldn't lose yourself. And in addition to that, I just want to say, men, if you feel like you're in that cage emotionally, please come out the cage.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. So what? It may be a moment of discomfort because you feel the conflict, or you may get the critique, but stay in it and go back again. Go back, I'm saying, reiterate, or say, tell her how that makes me feel. Tell her, oh, when I said that to you, that wasn't nice. That wasn't kind. Tell her that's disrespectful. Tell her your mind is closed, baby. Like, stay with it. Don't run. And the more that you do it, it's like going to the gym. The more that you do it and get active, the stronger you become. And the next thing you know, you'll be out the cage. You'll be walking around talking through your feelings, and you won't feel, angry and resentful about life, like you're not getting what you want, like your feelings and your needs aren't being heard because you've expressed them, and now you're in a partnership with someone who can actually receive them. Doesn't mean that they're going to actually go and accept every single thing that you say or agree with. They can accept it but not agree with everything that you say, at 100%. But at least you're being heard, and trust me, it will create a shift in your relationship. And it's not going to happen instantly, but it will create a shift in your relationship. Like, I really want men to start using their voices. And if you're in a relationship with a woman that once you use your voice and she continues with the conflict, or she shuts you out, or the just emotional abandonment, right? She stops speaking to you. Then that's when you make an appointment for couples counseling.
Yes.
Because as me as a counselor, just like I'm going to hold a man to their stuff, I'm also going to hold the woman to their stuff too. I'm telling y'all, this stuff works. And life is for living. It's for expressing yourself, living fully, quality of life. And you cannot push down your thoughts and your feelings and your desires just to make somebody else happy that you're in this lifetime relationship with. You're going to be miserable. So no, there's power in expressing your feelings. And please, I want men to start expressing them feelings more.
Yeah, I guess the place I'll leave us off at
Yes.
is and what you're hitting at. I hammer it home in that you if you don't communicate, you're setting your marriage up for failure.
There you go.
like you're not giving your marriage the best opportunity to be successful because it cannot grow and evolve. It's stagnant when it's no communication.
Yes.
People grow and change. I'm not the same man I was when we got married. My wife is not the same woman. She's had 2 kids. Genetically, she's not the exact same woman.
Yes.
And so she's got to be able to come to me and communicate her different needs as they
Yes.
change, as they grow, as they evolve. And and then at that point I can say, well, this is how I'm different now. This is what I need, and things like that. And so we all grow. We got to be able to communicate that. We got to be able to take our time and walk through those emotions. Like I had a couple recently where the wife kind of said, well, even if I did tell him, he wouldn't do it. And I was like, don't take that opportunity from him. You know, at least let it be out there.
That's
At least say it out loud. And maybe he won't do it today, but maybe he'll do it next week, next month, next year. Maybe he'll chew on it and he'll come back.
Yes.
But if you never tell him because you've already determined that he will never do something,
That's right.
then how can your marriage get better?
That's right. And that's so good. That's so good, because that's the same thing. We just flipped it. But listen, not only can it work on your partner, right? Little by little, it may not happen today, but the benefits. So even if they don't get it, trust me, it's going to create a change in your relationship for you. Like, it's going to make you feel better. It's you freeing yourself. It is you letting yourself out of the cage. Why is it that everybody else gets to walk around in the house and you got to be in the cage? You don't have to be in the cage. So there's some personal benefit for you doing it. I'm telling you, once you express yourself, you are going to feel so much better. So you need to practice that. It's not going to kill you. It's not. The conflict, it'll blow over.
Some men think they talk and their tongue gonna fall out or something weird, like like they gonna strangle themselves.
And it's not gonna happen. You're gonna be okay. Okay, y'all. So communication is the key. That's what you should do, is communicate more. Let yourself out the cage. Talk, speak. And if it's not, it's going to help your marriage. It will, especially if you have a partner who's willing to work with you and look at themselves. And you can get a counselor to help you get them to do that. And in addition to that, it's going to help you be your best self. Yeah.
Closes out.
Okay.
Mental health is a lifestyle.
Mental health is a lifestyle. And we will see you guys on the next episode. Y'all have homework from the first one, and it was about love. And what is it? Just remind them, Stephen.
Just hugging. Just tell them. Just go find you a man, a homeboy, and just that you friends with, and tell them that you love them.
Yes.
I've actually got a lot of men that have given me feedback on that.
Yes.
You know what's funny? Is
Okay.
a lot of my male friends came to me and said, "Hey, bro, you ain't hug me."
Oh.
And it caught me off guard. And I was, oh, my bad. Oh, yeah, you talking about the podcast. Like, oh, yeah, I love you, man. Like, tell him, man, you love him.
Oh, that's
Hug
good.
him, tell him you love him.
That's good. Okay, y'all. So we will see you the next time. That's gonna be 5.
Uh-oh.
Right? Yeah, that's on.
Oh,
that's
you gotta
5.
tell him to do that thing. Do that thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, please. I didn't even say that.
Do that thing.
Subscribe. Click this little bell and subscribe to the podcast. Like the podcast. And share it. Oh, and then if you have a comment, please put a comment down. And if you listen to us on podcasts, like on Spotify and every place else that you could find podcasts, rate the podcast and share the podcast. And subscribe to the channel. So that's it this week for the Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast. We will see you guys on the next episode.